It's Global Politics with Jim Martin. Today I want to talk about the Arctic. Lately it's been coming up a lot. Trump's been threatening to invade Greenland. So that's been kind of a focus, and it really kind of brought me to think about exactly why this would be a priority. I started delving into this with some pre-knowledge. The basic answer here is defense concerns and resource exploitation. So I'm going to talk about both of those things. Now, the United States maintained defense radar networks in northern Canada and in Greenland for many decades. The United States has a base far up in northern Greenland that's been there since the 60s. And the purpose of those bases was to guard against a potential first strike nuclear attack by the Russians using intercontinental ballistic missiles. The Russians have similar radars because, as you can tell from the map, the quickest path is straight over the pole. And there's a lot of other advantages to that regarding satellite orbits and things like this. Those things have been there for many decades. I mean, Russia and the United States have maintained these. Obviously, Canada allowed the United States to put them on their territory, as did Denmark, who is the colonial overseer of Greenland, so to speak, although currently Greenland is an autonomous area. The resource, oil and natural gas and mineral ideas are tentative. There has been a lot of noise over the past 10 to 15 years about the potential for massive oil and natural gas fields as well as mineral wealth. However, to my knowledge, these remain largely unexplored, unsurveyed. Potential is there. However, that's about it. So Russia has been actively pursuing an Arctic strategy for the last 10 to 15 years, reactivating some Soviet-era air bases, a couple of naval ports, and their idea was to create an alternate trade route that would allow goods from Asia to travel north across the Arctic Sea and then come down to Europe and the United States. Now, it's true that in many cases this would lessen the number of miles traveled. However, the sea lanes there in the Arctic Sea north of Russia are only open from July until something like November. Other than that, they are icebound. If that's the case, then it would take quite a bit longer for ships plying those oceans to be able to actually reach their destinations. The Russians do maintain the world's largest fleet of nuclear-powered icebreakers, which are quite impressive, but not all of those are in service at any one time. The Russians have a real problem with maintaining equipment. Those port facilities in the Arctic are minimal right now. There's two that I could find. I've got pictures up of a couple of them, and they're really not connected to much else. And there's about 1,000 miles in between them. It goes without saying that if there's some kind of accident or technical problem, you're in big trouble if you're in the Arctic, whether it's the summer or not. Arctic trade routes north past Canada have some promise. I don't know, 5% of the world's trade passes along those routes, both routes. Most of the trade that is passing in the Russian Arctic Ocean is inter-country trade. So it's just trade flowing from one part of Russia to another. Very little trade from, say, China or Japan flows north that way. Some, but not much. the development of that infrastructure, which was a goal for the last 10 or 15 years for Putin and the Russian Federation, the infrastructure is dilapidated and needs to be repaired. And then this industry that would exploit some of these supposed mineral, oil, and natural gas resources is not really there. There are some places, there are some facilities, but you need a lot more if these oil, natural gas, and mineral resources are actually there. The problem with that is that no one wants to do business with Russia anymore because they're just not a very good business partner and they're under massive sanctions because of their war in Ukraine. Furthermore, the idea of a Russian security threat, they've built these bases, they've restarted some of these early warning radars, they've put some airfields in some spots, and again, pictures up from Google Earth. But they've had to withdraw troops that were maintaining some of those things and Arctic troops to fight in Ukraine. So they need pretty much all hands on deck there. They don't really have any kind of reserves to fill those gaps. So they're being minimally manned. They don't have the money to really continue to develop those things. So I don't know. I could be completely wrong, and somebody could correct me in the comments. We can all learn together this way. It shouldn't be a top 10 issue. For now, it just seems like some kind of pipe dream. Pursuing this is likely to damage relations with some of our allies. For instance, pressuring Denmark to sell Greenland, which they really can't do because Greenland has people on it and they have an autonomous voice, and where they end up doesn't help anything. If you want to put pressure on Russia, you want to work with Denmark because they sit right at the entrance to the Baltic Sea, through which a lot of Russia's trade must flow that can flow anymore. The fact that it's the Arctic, the weather is very bad there. Temperatures can reach -60, -70 Fahrenheit in the winter times. It can be reasonably seasonable in the summertime, but again, that's very short. So I don't know exactly what everyone is getting all stirred up about. It seems to me a thing that would be better off dropped. That said, I rather doubt that President Trump will do that in his terms. We will see what happens, and we'll wait some more developments. Thanks a lot. Hope you have a great day. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as I noted, if somebody has some more information than I've been privy to, please feel free to share it in the comments. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.